All right, let's start up one more time. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Regular expressions, the shortened version for that is called regex. And basically what regex is a pattern recognition device against different... It's a way to recognize certain text and to select certain things using a bunch of patterns that your computer knows how to read. So each language has a slightly different implementation of this. So the way that I write regular expressions in the Ruby language is slightly different from how Java will work, or how C will work, or how JavaScript is even going to work. So just know that like what you learn over here using Ruby regular expressions today may not be the same thing as JavaScript, but is the same concept where if I type in a series of symbols out to the screen for Ruby to match, it will select those specific things that are associated with it. So it basically works like this. A user comes onto your website and tries to fill out a form. Now, when you get to the phone number portion, what happens if you type in a letter? Most of the time, some sort of validation will show up on the front end saying like, hey, you entered if it's a phone number, it only has numbers inside of it, and you typed in a exclamation point or a letter or of some sort. What kind of technology is powering that? Yes, I know HTML has that kind of stuff built in, so you don't have to really worry about it. But something is powering that HTML, and that something is the regular expressions on the back end, which basically says like, I'm going to look for what the person is typing, and I'm going to see if it's all numbers. If it's not all numbers, I'm going to raise some sort of error. Or if it's like a social security number or something like that, and you enter a letter or a special character, it's not going to work very well. The worst possible thing, I absolutely hate this, and you will learn to absolutely hate this as well, is phone number inputs. There are so many different ways that people decide to put in their phone number, right? I can do 312-555-6677. I can do 312.55667. I can do the same thing with another dot here. Wait, I don't have enough numbers. 5566, 5566. Missing a 5. Okay. There's another way where some people do it this way, 312-555-6677. So there's so many ways of entering a phone number. So you can't really trust what your people are going to put into your forms. As a web developer, something you have to remember is that every single person, you have to assume that every single person on the internet who's filling out a form for your website is trying to attack your website. That is the unfortunate reality of being a web developer in today's day and age. Is 99.9% of the people don't know how to do it, but that 0.1% could come back to bite you in the butt. So you have to be careful of like, what are people entering inside of any sort of text field? And then once they enter it, like, what am I doing with that information? How do I make sure that it's not like something malicious to get all the data from my database or to drop my database? You can kind of imagine, yeah. It's called, that particular thing is called SQL injection, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's a very well-known hacking technique where you can enter into a form something to do like show me all the records. Like you can basically type in like a SQL command to read the database, and then it'll return that out to you, because if you don't, like, they call it sanitizing your inputs. If you don't sanitize the inputs, if you're not absolutely sure of what's going to come out of it, they could very realistically just like read everything from your database or drop your database. There's actually a small little comic I was just thinking about, Bobby Tables SQL. So it's like it's a developer joke, but basically it's like this person is on the phone, gets a call. Hi, this is your son's school. We're having some computer trouble. Oh dear, did he break something? In a way, did you really name your son Robert? Single quote, closing parentheses, semicolon, drop table students? Oh yes, little Bobby Tables we call him. Well, we've lost this year's school records. I hope you're happy, and hope you've learned to sanitize your database inputs. So the idea behind it is you want to make sure that the input that you're getting in is exactly the input you expect. Somebody could be entering a bunch of numbers for somebody's first name, and there's not I don't know if this is the case. I have never seen anyone's first name with numbers inside of it. Maybe that's a username or something, but someone's like proper legal first name does not have numbers inside of it. You want to protect against things like, what if somebody writes a SQL statement directly into your into like one of the inputs, and then is able to drop your database or read your database and things like that. And we'll talk more about databases in a couple weeks.
Drop the database to read?
Yeah, you can drop entire tables. Like, so Amazon has probably a table for customers, probably a table for orders, probably a table for like credit card information. What if you were able to like say like, I want to see all the customers and their corresponding credit card information? Then you have, you know, billions of customers worth of material. So obviously Amazon does a good job of preventing that, but it is possible to hack. Like anything is possible to hack. I think the Target hack from like 3 or 4 years ago was because of the AC software had a open, like the software that like for that particular store's AC unit has software behind it. They figured out how to hack into that, get into the electrical for the store, and from there get into the credit card terminals.
No way.
So it's like anything can be hacked, and you always have to be careful. That's why I'm saying, like, as a web developer, you must be prepared to say, like, every single person that comes onto my website is a potential attacker. So, yeah.
So when do we learn the AC thing?
The AC thing? I do have one. We have a couple people coming in to talk about application security, and they do have quite a number of stories like that. There's an unconfirmed attack against a nuclear facility in Iran. What's that?
Stuxnet?
It could be that one. But basically,
against a facility in Iran.
Yeah, it was potentially a nuclear research facility. And what they did was they went inside. They figured out how they could hack into the individual like fans that power, like that cool down things. They shut down the fans, and then the nuclear power plant exploded or something like that. No one has taken credit for it, but they said it could have been like an American black ops kind of like operation. You never know.
It was American.
Oh, it was American. Oh, they
over RPM the centrifuges, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it made them.
When did this happen?
It was like 2 years or 7 years ago. Yeah.
Yes, and then
before the deal.
Yeah, they blew it
before
up.
that Iran deal.
So, I mean, those are very extreme cases. Those are, you know, just kind of things that you think about when you think of like TV shows and movies, but it does happen in real life as well, and anything is possible. So, and a lot of that kind of starts from, like, you're not going to deal with something like that unless you move on to like the NSA or work for the government in some capacity that does that. But you will work as a software developer for a specific company or write software for like a potential product. And you always have to be careful of what kind of text input is coming in. So a lot of times what people do is they have regular expressions to kind of check what people are bringing in. So basically regular expressions. I have some strings here, and I'm going to write some sort of weird, like \W/D, like this weird code that shows up down here to match certain things from a string. So when I enter a social security number, for instance, I have 3 numbers, -2 numbers, -4 numbers. That's how social security numbers work. But I don't care about the dashes. I don't want to save the dashes. I only want to save the specific numbers in that fashion. So let's say that I want to save the phone number in the same way. Like, regardless if you enter it like this, or if you enter it like this, or if you enter it like this, I'm looking for 3 numbers, 4 numbers, and I'm just going to smash them all together, regardless of regardless of like all the special characters and all the spaces and things like that. So I've seen some people do like that on inputs as well. Like, you have to just like assume everything possible is going to go wrong, and you only want to select the numbers. So using this quick reference guide down here, I'm going to select certain like regular expression things, and then try to just select the number. Now, when we saw like the .match method, we saw those for you guys, it's 2 forward slashes. Everything in the middle there is that regular expression, like the patterns that I'm going to write from here in order to select certain numbers. And you don't really this doesn't require any previous programming experience. It's just kind of like, which one would make sense? So I know, like, so together we'll just kind of figure out, like, how are we supposed to figure out what the numbers are? I only want to select the numbers. I don't care about these dots and these spaces and these opening and closing parentheses. Using what I have here, I want all the numbers.
So whatever we use is going to be included in the output, right? So that's what this reference guide is, not what's going to be excluded or pulled out.
No, this is what you're going to select.
So what, oh, meaning from the input. Got
Yes.
it. Okay.
So again, your user puts in something, you write a regular expression to like take out certain aspects of it, and then you will you'll return that. So for this one, I'm going to go with just /any digit, \d. So here I'm just going to do \d, and then I've just selected all the numbers. I don't care about any of the dots or any of the parentheses or any of the spaces. I'm just selecting that particular one.
Is it breaking those up?
What's that?
No.
So it's per line, right? So this one, it's just selecting all the numbers from this line, selecting all the numbers from this line, so on and so forth. But the issue with that also becomes, what if I have what if somebody decides to add a bunch of 5s at the end? Then I have all the numbers, and phone numbers are only 10 digits long, and then this one could be like 25 digits long. So I can go on and I can go a little bit further. I can say I just want the first, I only want 7 digits. Like, I'd only want the 7s on there. Or I want,
Curly brackets.
yeah, probably curly brackets. So I want all the digits, but I want the first 7 of them. What am I doing? Exactly 3 or more of a. Is this 7 digits? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 10. I'm sorry. 10 digits in it, like a phone number or something like that. I want all 10 digits in a specific row. But what happens if I have, like, this is a legitimate phone number too. Right now, I'm only checking for 10 digits in a row without anything in between. So I have to maybe sometimes they're going to enter it like this. It's going to be like 312.555. I need to ignore that, those special characters, and just select the numbers from there. Let's see. How do I ignore? Let's just let's try.
It would be brackets, question mark, colon, question mark at the end.
Like that.
And inside brackets.
Square brackets?
Yeah, square brackets.
Question mark inside of it.
Yeah, then colon inside the square bracket. And then whatever you want to ignore, I think. And then followed by my question mark at the end of the square bracket.
Nope. So this is like it's kind of like the fun and the you're trying to find, like, how do I chain all of these together to get exactly what I want. It's kind of like pattern recognition. It's a little fun. Maybe we have like a social security number. So we'll 123-45-6789, and I just want to do, let's say it's entered like this every single time with dashes. If there's a specific pattern, maybe I'll say, okay, so there's going to be digits. There's going to be 3 digits, followed by a dash, followed by 2 digits, followed by 4 digits. So I could do backslash D. It'll select all the numbers. Maybe it'll be in a pattern of 3. So now I have all the 3 numbers, followed by backslash D of 2 numbers, followed by a dash, backslash D of 4 numbers. So if I wanted to look for a social security number on the page, it'd be 3 digits followed by a dash, then 2 digits followed by a dash, then 4 digits. This, unfortunately, would not count as a social security number because it doesn't have those dashes in a row. So just kind of as a recap, a regular expression is basically the way that your computer will, and the programming language is going to read a string, and it's going to basically say, like, does it match this specific pattern? And you can match certain things out of other things. You you can kind of, if you had a giant string of like, my name is Jonathan and my phone number is 312-555-6677. And inside of this giant string, I just want to have all the digits. Then I can just do \d. It would give me all the digits inside of this giant string right here. All right, so we have 6 people today. It is Wednesday, so it's a pairing day. And we have a few challenges for today. One is called regex1. This is a great website. We are going to go through all of these, and you're going to work on this with your partner. So it's kind of like, it has all of the like the shortcuts on the right side, and you're going to try just kind of get used to it to match characters inside of here. Then we have phone numbers, which will basically, you're going to see if it contains a phone number. You're going to write the regex for it. You're going to get the phone number back from a string when people input certain things. You're going to get all the phone numbers. You're going to hide the phone number, so you'll select it and then replace it with a bunch of X's. So you can like black out certain things. This one's kind of fun as well. And finally, the last one for today is not a regex one, but it is called stock picker. Basically, stock prices go up and down throughout the day. You have to figure out the ideal time to buy and the ideal time to sell to get the highest possible profit margin. Sound good? I think that's pretty much all that I had for today. If you want me to go over something at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, if there's something that you're still a little shaky on, I haven't read the feedback quite yet. But if there's something that you're shaky on, you want me to cover, we can cover that either in a smaller group or in a larger group. All right, so let's pair up someone that you haven't been with, and then we will work together.